After turning my vehicle around, we spooled out my winch line. We prepared to pull Dillon up the obstacle. Nobody was expecting what would happen next. Welcome back, everybody. This road trip was planned so that we would be in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan during peak fall colors. We left early and met in Mackinac City. After some ceremonious rock skipping, we hit the road for our next stop. Dillon had a marketplace deal to wrap up.
Do it again, do it again.
I'm gonna leave it here. Okay. I'm gonna leave it here, I think. I sort of did a reverse burnout before I decided to put the parking brake on.
This truck topper was $50 on Facebook Marketplace. I found it months before our trip, sent it to Dillon, who contacted the seller and arranged the sale.
Hang on. What if we rotate? 360. Yeah, we're changing plans, chat. 180.
This was incredibly important to the context of our vlog, because prior to this, Dillon did not have anywhere to sleep, and it was raining. We scheduled the entire trip around whether or not we would be able to grab this topper. If there comes a point where you just don't know what to say, while you still have them on the absolutely line. Nothing went wrong while we were getting it. Just picked up this topper for Dillon's truck. That was an adventure.
Seamless. No, it went so well that we're gonna. No, it went very poorly.
Yeah, it went really well. Now we're grabbing dinner, and then we're gonna head up and try and find some place to camp for the night. We waited several hours for dinner, and the sun was going down, so we made camp in a clearing, a couple of miles worth of trails off of the main road. We woke up early once more to try and catch the last of the light of sunrise at our next destination. I am recording live from the top of Brockway Mountain Drive in Keweenaw County, Michigan. We got up pretty early today and we missed the sunrise a little bit, but still got some nice colors in our pictures. Just finished off a roll of Portra 800 and I shot a little bit of Gold 200. Now I'm running into a predicament because I only have 3 rolls of Portra 800 left, and I really should have brought more, but I was anticipating using the 645 back on my Mamiya. A little bit more, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll catch up. Maybe there will be a gas station selling unexpired 120 film in 2024. The top of Brockway was picturesque. The colors were mind-blowing in the lighting from sunrise. We taking Tinder pics now?
Babes love fall colors.
Do they?
They do.
I wouldn't know. Here's a color comparison between Kodak Gold 200 and Portra 800 on the right. Now that it's actually daylight, we're going to do a little bit of an off-road tour. That tour is going to take us to several historic and scenic spots where we'll take pictures and hopefully have a pretty fun time. Yeah, having a fun time's optional. We hit the road for our next destination after loading a new roll of Portra 800 into my Mamiya RB67 RB. The vivid colors of fall let us know we were in the right place and in for a good time. While passing through Copper Harbor, I noticed a quaint coffee shop sitting on the water's edge. We made a stop and picked up some bagels. There were so many eye-catching scenes in such a small distance of each other that it was so hard not to take pictures here. You might notice a little bit of white balance issues coming from my 645 photos. More on that later. This scene is a top 5 from the trip, for sure. I just wish the dog had been in the horizontal shot. This ferry had been prepared for winter. The bagel shop was closed for the season as well. We found it on the very last day of being in business ever. In fact, the owner deleted herself in front of us after setting fire to the entire building and allowing the secret bagel formula to go up in smoke. The fire department attended to the smoldering remains of the bagel business. I snuck around back and took these photos.
Heard your song, you stole my vibe, so I brought back my old vibe.
We really didn't stick around long. After dodging questions from the town's detective, Ricky No Knees, we sped off down the trails in search of an abandoned copper mine.
I don't know where it goes.
You could send a drone now.
You might think it looks like we found it very quickly and easily. I'm not going to correct that thought. This specific structure was a ventilation shaft, but also may have had a pulley inside so they could lower smaller supplies into the mine. We spent a little bit of time messing around here in a field of black rocks. This was actually one of the dumping grounds for the mine. These rocks used to be far underground and weren't copper, so they pulled them up to the surface and tossed them.
And I was like, do you think I should change this? And she's like, you know, it's a good song. Sometimes I feel like my mom speaks through her. So I'm like, she's like, it's a good song. This is just a banger. Like, you gotta say.
Something felt a little bit off with my car, but we're gonna pretend that nothing happened. Making our way back towards the coast, we began our pilgrimage towards the end of the world, taking a trail with one or two known large obstacles, in an attempt to cut through the center of the Keweenaw Peninsula and spend some time on the northernmost coast of Michigan. Unfortunately, we misunderstood the OnX map and came expecting a bypass. There was not one. We needed to get both vehicles up this incredibly steep rock face, after it had rained most of the day prior.
Just to say you miss him and you wish you could spend time. What's the serious that you can just pick up the phone? Let him know you love him.
I took it slow. I knew my car would make it. I didn't want to go too crazy and risk breaking something.
I can't see it right now.
After a quick reposition, it was all up from there, I guess. And then it was Dillon's turn. So unfortunately, this footage has been lost to time, and I cannot show you what the first attempt actually looked like. Just imagine squealing tires, a little bit of burnt rubber smell, and a little bit of screaming as well. And then the eventual reverse down the obstacle. I forgot to say something. That is, Dillon's truck is a two-wheel drive. On top of that, he has an open rear diff, which means that when one of his wheels comes off of the ground, they both stop spinning. We then decided to try and winch Dillon up a little bit at a time until we got past the harder part and he would be able to drive the rest of the way. After moving into position, he turned off his truck and then...
She went to alley like Kirsty. She don't remember the first me. Someone went into a person, she just wanna know when they gon' reimburse me. She don't want no one in her sleep. She don't want no one in court. She don't want no one in curse. People in church calling her fast, but no one asked.
Thankfully, Dillon took my advice, jumped into his truck, and slammed on the brakes incredibly fast. His back bumper came just inches from hitting the trees at the end of the trail. We continued with the plan to winch Dillon's truck up the rock face, but we were all shaken up and decided to find a different trail, effectively taking the long way around. While there were still obstacles to conquer, nothing was as difficult or as dangerous as the previous situation. After a couple of hours of slowly navigating ruts and mud holes, we made it to the edge of Lake Superior. We spent some time relaxing and cooking food. We tossed around the idea of camping on the coast, but decided to spend our time finishing the tour of the peninsula to keep on track with our timeline.
Niggas had daughters, now they precautious. Father, forgive me. I'm scared of the karma,
Of course, we took several photos while we were here, a seemingly untouched slice of coastline with coniferous trees tracing the water as far as the eyes could see.
After several hours of pretty intense off-road trails, trying to find our way, we've made it. It's super exciting. Just shot off a bunch of pictures, and we had the best fettuccine Alfredo I've ever had.
Not when it comes to their daughters. Don't do no yoga, don't do Pilates. Just play piano and stick to karate. I pray your bodies straight more like mine and not like your mommy's.
Here's another gold and Portra comparison. This Portra 800 shot, this box of Portra 800 came expired from B&H. I shot 3 rolls. One of those rolls was totally fine. The other 2 had this weird green splotching going on. What makes it even more strange is that when I developed this Portra 800, I developed the 1 roll of Portra 800 and 1 roll of gold in the same bath, and the gold came out perfectly both times.
Now we are on our way back south through the Keweenaw. We're probably going to hit 1 or 2 other scenic spots I wanted to hit, and then after that, Pictured Rocks, where we will find a place to camp for the night, and we'll hike it in the morning, and I'll take more pictures.
Before we head off, here's some photos of the vehicles that got us this far. You can see that one of my red shackles is about to fall off, and it did. I never saw it again. Honestly, big shout out to Dillon's truck for making it as far as it did. To cut some time off the return trip, we cut back through the trail we originally turned around on. We made our way back down the wall.
I'm gonna always be a lie. You were always in denial.
When we got to the trailhead, something felt wrong.
When I installed these red recovery points on the front, you have to pop off where the sway bar mounts, and one of those nuts inside of the frame popped off, so the bolt had nothing going. So I just have, it's like 2 bolts and it holds the bushing in place. It just has 1 bolt. Well, here's the thing. This is so stupid. I never got this fixed because you have to weld inside. On that wall, I think this wheel was hanging, and there wasn't a bolt to hold that, so it's bent like this. I'll show you right here. See, that's supposed to go up there. So I'm thinking that clunking is this going up and down.
That did actually end up being the issue. After owning an unreliable car for quite some time, I got good at diagnosing issues and noises, I guess. We didn't let this stop us, and we finished our day on the trails with a river crossing. This was a very calculated risk. On the first river crossing, I took it very slow because I wasn't sure what to expect. Things were fine, so we crossed it a little bit faster on the way back. You probably shouldn't do this.
Don't you grow up in a hurry now, in a hurry now.
The plan was to drive the rest of the way to Marquette and then find a place to spend the night. We had 1 stop planned in between. An old mining dredge exists in a copper-polluted pond half buried in the toxic mud. I wasn't sure where to stop, but this was a happy accident. I pulled into what I thought was a driveway to turn around, and the property owner happened to be outside. He waved us over, and he told us how to get closer to the beast.
Yeah, here you go.
This was my first photograph of the monolith. We made our way closer and closer, taking these photos. Many of these photos are among the best from this portion of the trip. It's very hard to go wrong with an iron ghost of the 1950s against such a clean backdrop. I had originally intended to fly my drone here. I was unable to take off due to it being controlled airspace. Here are some drone shots from someone who was given permission to fly here. These were taken plus or minus 2 weeks from the time we were there. So let's talk a little bit about those white balance issues. I had a light leak on my Mamiya 645 back, throwing off my software for a majority of the Kodak gold shots in this video and a couple of other ones. I've since fixed it. It was a very big bummer though, because the eBay listing that I purchased it from did advertise it being a new light seal. Nevertheless, now I know how to fix it. We visited this abandoned mining building next. It was right off the main road, cleaned out and ready for exploration. Here's a photo of the mining dredge from a distance. It was used to scrape the bottom of the pond, and the mud it collected was then washed, and any copper inside of it was filtered out and sold. The dredge was from the 1950s. It's very likely this building was older, because the dredge came about after the copper mine closed, in an attempt to make money off of any copper that might have been left in the pond, if I'm remembering correctly. It got very dark very fast.
It's a pipe, and then it squeezes really tight, and I don't want to squeeze past it.
Probably just drainage.
Yeah. There were minecart trails, though. There was like a rails.
The mine became unprofitable at some point, and the dredge was left to rot. The craziest part of the story is that this is the Quincy Mine Dredge number 2. What happened to number 1, you ask? Well, it's in the same lake as the first one. It is, however, 40 feet under the water. Once we were done exploring here, we got in the cars and made our way back towards Marquette, stopping about an hour from town to sleep.
Where'd your other boot go?
It's all the way over there. Look at me the camera. It's all the way over there. I'm over here.
Good morning. So, just woke up after night 2 of camping. This is kind of a little aside, but when you're going on road trips and camping and hitting all these different spots, you have to be prepared, because I was getting really freaking tired last night. My brother didn't sleep at all the night before. I was getting ready to just pull over and find somewhere to sleep, and luckily I have Onyx GPS on my CarPlay, and I had already mapped out a bunch of potential spots to sleep, basically a bunch of like clearings off of forest roads and stuff. So as soon as I saw that sign that said "Welcome to the Huron Manistee Forest," I like switched map modes, just pulled into the first spot that I had marked, and lo and behold, it worked. Slept very, very well last night.
The next day, we spent several hours exploring the area around the pictured rocks and some of the lesser-known nooks and crannies around the pictured rocks hike. We took so many awesome photos, but because of time, that video is going to be its own little vlog. So make sure you subscribe so you can see that video. Like this video, pop over to my website, detroitmatt.com, where you could see all of the photo projects I'm currently working on, past and present client work, and you can also get some discount codes for photography and off-road related accessories.